So I want to talk about, like in terms of a husband or partner. So there was this man last year in the summer, and I felt he was not. His name was Yaakov, and he was much younger than me. And I thought he did want to marry me, and he didn't. He wanted to go back to Israel and be young and carefree, and he was at an age where I didn't want to get married at that age, but so he. It turns out he probably used me, and so I wanted to figure out like what it was that had me interested since he wasn't my partner, like to for someone else. So first of all, he could hold his tongue even when he was angry or he wanted to retort to my lengthy criticisms and complaints about him. Um, he was not materialistic. I didn't feel he could be bribed. He wasn't attached to physicality. He was able to apologize with a whole show and a care and fix it, even to make me laugh, feel better, and forgive. He had a healthy grasp on his boundaries and what we were each entitled to, his obligations and requirements, and also his needs, like in the connection. He was patient, capable of waiting, and he wasn't so into instant gratification. However, he was small with a thin stature. He did bring up the future to have me consider it too, whether I'll be okay with his plans if I do what I'm doing. He was not experienced at any kissing, but he was only 21 at the time. So now he's 22. He'll be 23 very soon. He didn't have a job. He never had an apartment. He didn't learn what it means to be sustainable. He spoke mostly Hebrew and I spoke mostly English. And yeah, so thinking about like what I wanted from a husband, what I'm looking for, I realized someone who could help me with the cleaning and the housework, like laundry, floors, dishes, errands, locally or even help cook, someone reassuring and grounded. I want to say I wrote this a year ago. This was at the time of the situation. Someone could offer me sweet words, thoughtfulness, creatively connect with me, accept me, doesn't judge me for my insecurities about my body, my background, my history, my choices. Someone who's serving Hashem, even when it's private, even like in the dark, hidden, has a real awe of heaven. So I could also serve his life, not necessarily serve him, but like serve him, like serve his mission. Who lets me write and make art, read, daven. Daven means pray, meditate, exercise, learn Torah, personal projects without feeling threatened or get in the way or feel like it's not what I should be doing. Someone who stays clean, like clean enough for me, like in terms of their hands, their mouth, their smell, their clothes, and likes nature, exploring, discovering, trying new things, singing, dancing, conversing. And I would prefer someone who has a beard, who dresses like at that time I thought maybe like who wears the black and white like of the culture I was in, but I guess now I don't really care that much about that. But maybe wears a head covering. And the four fringe, the tassels on the four corner garment, which is tzitzis. To some extent, like it says that most Orthodox Jewish men will wear it all the time, but it does say when you have a four cornered garment. So, and then a tallis, I want to kind of be wrapped in his tallis. Tallis is like this, almost like a cape that designed like with the fringes, like for a man to wear. Someone who for the Sabbath, for Shabbos, he does the thing that brings it in, which is called Kiddush, like in the front before the meal. And Kiddush actually means holy. And then the Havdalah, which brings it out, kind of. Somebody who really is very generous, patient, merciful, pleasures me. And what I would want to offer is interesting information, unique perspectives, creativity, sensitivity, wisdom, compassion, intuition, balance, vibrancy, passion, and healing, gratitude, care, positive words, gifts, verbal and written communication, open-mindedness, cleanliness and order standards, non-distracting, minimalist environment, healthy, tasty food. I mean, I'm not actually such a great cook, but like I could make sure that that's always there because that's what I want. Encouragement, respect, open-heartedness, pleasure, touch, intimacy, and trust, honesty, sincerity, looking for the good, sharing, detail-oriented service, confidence, nurture, and support. Also, like in terms of like the very area which is our struggle is always like the light from the darkness. Like the very thing that was the challenge is also what grows us and makes us like have mission or like a purpose or like special skills, superpowers. So I appreciate so much having people to talk to about the things I used to have to hide as a secret. Accessing the back of my heart that remained protectively covered to reduce overwhelm or loss of myself. I held out for someone healthy and imperfectly on the journey of life without becoming jaded, and I'm able to share with everyone the light, even if they don't quote unquote deserve it, or it's challenging. And learning how important healthy eating and good rest and deep breaths really are for wellness. Recognizing I'm also a gift for the ones Hashem sends me to. God shares me with people, and when I connect with the flame of Hashem, like really the flickering, the flame, the fire, my neshama, my soul, my highest soul part of God, even though there's higher levels of the soul, like the highest personal soul, there's a higher level of soul, which is life, but that's not personal, and then yichida, which is oneness. But the highest personal soul I have, which is my neshama, when I connect with Hashem, with my neshama, anything is possible, and there's no codependency. It's healed. And then I did a meditation, from a future husband, and this is what he told me. He said, "Please wait for me, Shana. Wait for me. We'll know the sign. You'll know that you or we will know the signs." There was actually something with 2 doves holding the branches with 6 leaves. Wait for me. I saw that image. So, these things are pretty powerful. I want to talk about in how this is from the Zohar, and it says, the Zohar is written by Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai, and it says in chapter 80, verse 798, in the portion of 7 blessings of the bride. This is in the portion of Truma. Let's see here. I had one. I just want to make sure. The 7 blessings of the bride. Okay, there are 10 kinds of joy, and a combination of the 10 sayings. 10 sayings are the 10 sayings that God created the world with, and the 10 sfirot, which are the 10 attributes. This is Kabbalah. So the 7th is Bina, establishes them all. Now, I don't know that the 7th is Bina, because I always learned that the 7th is not Bina. It's the source of Mochen, because Mochen is like the mind. So it could be that there's a different order. Or it's not a different order, that it's coming from the other angle. Because if you come from the first as Malchut, Yesod, backwards, basically backwards. Netzach, Hod, Tiferet, Chesed, and Gvura. Well, then technically the 8th one would be Bina. Oh, maybe the 7th kind of joy is Bina, which establishes them all. The source of Mochen. Bina is above and Malchut is below. And now this is verse 792 and 793. The Malchut, or the sovereignty, the dignity, the one that receives from all the rest, is called the lower Chachma. Chachma is the wisdom, and it feeds into Bina. Bina is like the expansion, practicality, understanding of it. Because she unites with Zeir Anpin, which are the next 7, the emotional ones, which is kindness, severity, balance of the 2, like a harmony. Netzach and Hod, which is persevering, and then also spaciousness, and then Yesod, which is a bonding, or the foundation. So she unites those, and then Malchut is the one that receives. But before she receives Chachma, she can't give birth, and before Zeir Anpin receives Chachma from the left of Bina, it can't beget. And so the first fruit descends from above, from Bina, through the limbs, which is the Zeir Anpin, through the Holy Covenant Yesod, to be drawn to that vine, Malchut, and fruits happen from the right side, because the left arouses the bearing of fruit. So the left wants something, and the right sort of gives it. Left is the feminine, and then the left arouses the bearing of the fruit, and the right produces the fruit. So there's joy, happiness, groom, that's 3, bride, 4, gladness, 5, jubilation, 6, cheer, 7, love and delight, which is 8. No, that's 8 and 9. No, that's 8. Peace, which is 9, and friendship, which is 10. So I don't know how you get Bina as the 7th. unless it's backwards, or there's more than one bina in each of like different orders. I will have to go back maybe one day and check it out. So 2 other things I wanted to share. Well, first of all, Asher Crisp in his website on skin and touch, he talks about mother. So this is like related to Bina. We just talked about mother. And this is about proximity without smothering, right? Touch is sort of like without actually touching, like a hovering is a mother. And when we're grasping, holding, things are intact. There's a privacy, there's an exterior and an interior, and one another's inwardness. We have to respect that it can be touched, yet we don't violate its untouchability, because if it's masked as available to touch, it means the hand that grasps it may not be choosing, much could have slipped through the fingers, and it's just regressing to repetition of whatever appears available. Like if we just touch without the fully conscious touching, it's not a choice. The surface of a being doesn't mean protection or container. Usually we're like, oh, it's the outside. It's sort of like the edge that we could make contact with. But it's also where it could become contamination. It's really a place of possibility, whether there's a distress, fault, profanity, delivery, persecution, separation, commitment, duration, extension, perception, aggression or violence, seeing and knowing. And then in terms of seeing, we have or. Or is like ayin, vav, resh, is actually skin and blind. So the skin is sort of blinding us. It's sort of that contact edge on the outside. It shuts out all but that superficial barrier edge. And so that's why it's sort of this idea that like just because it's masked as available to touch means like when we're touching it, it's not like we're choosing to touch it. We're just only touching what we think we are with the hand that can touch. And one more thing that I wanted to share about is the emotion code by Dr. Bradley Nelson, because in terms of the body, we have a deeper layer. And I guess it's sort of also leading us into our next topic, which will be on the body. So the heart of the small intestine is all about, there's basically A or B. A is abandonment, betrayal, lost love, lost, love unreceived, feeling forlorn. B is insecurity, heartache, overjoy, vulnerability, effort unreceived. 2, we have the spleen of the stomach. There's A, we have anxiety, despair, disgust, worry, or nervousness. B, we would have failure, helplessness, low self-esteem, lack of control, hopelessness. And the reason I'm sharing this is because we talked about relationship, touch, right, mother, and we're talking about father, and now we're talking about how, there's a baby that develops, and in the development, we see how these areas of the body, and we continue being like mothered and fathered by people in our life. These are things you could see, the emotions connected to parts of the body. We have 3, lungs or colon. On the A side, we have rejection, sadness, sorrow, crying, or discouragement. B side, we have grief, confusion, self-abuse, stubbornness, and defensiveness. 4, we have liver, gallbladder. Anger, bitterness, guilt, resentment, hatred. B, depression, panic, frustration, take it for granted, indecisiveness. You might want to look this up. This is just like a teaser, I guess, a taste. 5, we have kidneys or bladder. A, dread, fear, when we feel peeved, blaming, or horror. And B, conflict, terror, wishy-washy, creative insecurity, unsupported. 6, we have the glands or the sexual organs. A, jealousy, lost, longing, overwhelm, humiliation. And B, pride, shame, shock, unworthy, or worthless. And so basically the topic was husband and wife as mother and father, and for ourselves, for each other. I hope that's interesting, and I wish you a beautiful Shabbos with everything in order, clear, catching up on anything that feels like you want to do it, you just haven't been able, not as a task, but as something just to feel like complete. Peace, kindness, pausing, rest and security, new hope, new chapter, friendship and self-connecting, and may all rawness or numbness be, healed, and may there be rejuvenation of the sense of humor and playfulness and curiosity and opportunities, possibility for the beauty and the joy past even the imagination or ideas or expectations or assumptions or wants. All the best. Good Shabbos. Bye.